Barry Hills and Kelly Auty from PepperCreek Revival. Welcome to Australian Musician.
Hi.
So thank you, Greg.
Barry, you've been around a while in this industry. You took a break for a while there and came back in 2018. What was the impetus to come back to the industry?
It was interesting because I'd been listening to a lot of music in that 10 years I had a break. I had an idea in my head, if I want to go back to the music, I've got to be in charge. And with my ideas, and being a bass player, and getting the right people. So I'd actually, the reason why I come back, because I realised I enjoy music. I was turning 60. I could still play, and I could carry gear around. So that's the reason why. Yeah.
And PepperCreek Revival, what's the concept? Why did you decide to put this particular band together?
The concept was to get a session band of musicians who could play different instruments and be non-genre based, and to open. When the first rehearsal I had with an early version of this band, we actually brought Jessica by the Allman Brothers as the opening track, because we had a guitar, and it was from that day, because we actually nailed a harmony, guitar parts, I knew I was onto something. It was, and everyone was enjoying it. That was the best part.
And at what point did you decide to bring Kelly on board?
Actually, Kelly can tell that story of how that she joined our party. Yeah.
So of course there was the year of COVID. Before that I was working with Boris Connolly, the great piano player, and Max McIntosh, bass player, and Nick Carafa, drummer, who's in this band. And after COVID we all had a conversation and sort of decided that it was time to, try new things, look further afield, do something different. We'd worked together for quite many years, and we'd done a fair few recordings and festivals and all sorts of beautiful things. It was just time for change, really. And I'd also written a kids' musical actually, during the COVID time. I'd started doing that, and I was focusing on that and just trying to piece my life back together, as a lot of us did, because it was quite shocking to be locked up for a year. And then Barry and I were having a conversation with Helen, and Barry was saying that he's put this great new band together, and would I like to come and have a sing with them? And so we went and had a sing, and the rest, as they say, is history. Everything just fell into place. For me it was a lovely sound that I was really drawn to, with all the strings, mandolin, acoustic guitars, and the option to do something new and fresh. So yeah, I just fell into it, and I love it. It's great. I love the sound. I love the fact that we can get together for a songwriting session, and Barry will bring a bass line or a lyrical idea, and then I'll run with it, and the musos will run with it, and by the end of the session go, oh, we've got a couple of really good start-up songs here, work on them the next time around. And everyone brings something to the picture, and we're all kind of writing together. And yeah, it's most enjoyable. It's really enjoyable, and on stage they're just so much fun. We just have great fun. So yeah.
Barry, Brian Fraser, Ron Kretschmer, and Nick Carafa is the bassist of the band. Are these all people who you've worked with for a long time?
Brian was the first person who I actually did a short tour as a bass player in his band, and this is after I'd come back. And Brian and I had known each other, but I'd actually never played played in the same band. But we actually did a tour, and I think he's pretty. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I put the idea to him, and he thought it was a great idea. Roland Kretschmer, now his band was Lyman debut, and we actually did some recording. I think it was 97 or something like that, and his band, and I could get that wrong, but we ended up, that band ended up being the band of the year, so we, and Roland, when you work with people in the studio, you can see their nature. It's very interesting to see. Especially their work ethic. That was one of the high on for me. Being in the studio is not. You're actually open. It's an open place, so you actually might make them. But you need to be open to ideas.
Yeah.
And that's one of the beauty of this band. There's so many ideas, it's very open. So Roland, when I put the idea to Roland, he thought it was a great idea too. So I thought, well, yes, I'm onto something. Nick actually come in later in the process, as we were doing different versions of the band. There was and then we landed. I think it was early last year into the combo with his now.
Yep.
So there's a lot about 6 or 8 months previous of different combinations and seeing what worked and yeah.
And the name PepperCreek Revival, where did that come from?
Good question.
Yeah, well, that's comes from a video that we shot in the back of Kelly's place.
Cooroy Creek, there's a peppercorn tree there. Yeah, so we thought, oh, peppercorn. No, that was used.
Yeah.
And we went through a bunch of different ones. Then Barry rang me and said, PepperCreek Revival. Bang, that was it. It just came to you, didn't it?
Well, the revival was actually, I was watching a Leon Russell old video, and he'd put together all these musos, and it was something Leon Russell and something a revival, and then it was all within this same week, and where we was videoing that there was a little creek. Yeah, it was all come together, didn't it? So when I put the idea, everyone, because we'd been throwing names around for like 6 months, and nothing was happening. But I said to Kel, just be patient, it will happen. And it was just like overnight, and yeah, that's it, and bang. And that was August last year.
Yeah.
Actual name had come, yeah.
Yeah.
What were some of the names that didn't make the cut?
Yeah.
Can't tell you. Oh look, whenever you're going to choose a name for a band or something, you've got to go to Google or somewhere and find out if that name's taken. And then, there's a band called that, and there's another band called, oh dear, the good names are taken, and so on. So you just have to keep searching. But really, we had some good ideas, but PepperCreek Revival stuck. It just stuck. We all just went, oh yeah, that's us.
But it's also, we didn't want a name that was genre based. Blues something or roots or whatever like that. It needed to cover the amount of. I knew that we already knew there was going to be a wide range of genre, if you want to put it that way. But we didn't. Yeah, so it needed to be a name that didn't sort of have any genre base, did it? So.
That's right, and the revival bit, I mean, we're all mature musicians, shall I say, so we're all having a revival. Why not? Why not?
Let's get to some specifics. Train I'm On was the first single. You wrote the lyrics for that, Kelly?
I wrote the lyrics, most of the lyrics on the album I wrote. Train I'm On I wrote with Boris Connolly. And that was a couple of years ago. We never got to record it, but we'd sort of pieced it together. So I offered it to these guys, and we fell into it actually. It just worked instantly. Train I'm On.
Won't be sad to see the last smokestack. Miss my people and my rambling shack. don't take me away from the past. You don't want to replay. Train I'm on, train I ride, drumming in time to the rhythm of the steel and the cymbals crack on the rails.
So yeah.
The track about Memphis has a fairly interesting story behind it. Tell me about that.
Yeah, with the previous band that I worked with Boris and Nick and Max, we put ourselves up for the International Blues Challenge competition here in Melbourne, and we made an album called Kelly's Blues, and for the sake of that as well. And then we won when we were here, and we were sent to Memphis, which was just thrilling. And I had a gig a few weeks before we left, and there was a guy from the USA, and I said to him, "Oh, we're going to Memphis, and I'm really excited." And I just said to him, "Will it be cold? How cold will it be?" And he said, "No, you'll be fine. You just, your jeans and your warm. You'll be fine, warm clothes." And I thought, yeah, okay, well, I'm just going to throw in a few thermals just in case. And we got there, and it was -13. It was freezing. There was snow everywhere. Everyone was hunkered down at home, and we thought this will be interesting. We did the weekend of gigs. We got into the semi-finals, which was an absolute thrill because there was so many great acts from all over the world, 240 acts, and it was so inspiring to see all those musicians from everywhere. They'd all made 100% effort, and at the end, we got into the semis. We didn't get into the finals, but we went to Sun Studio on the Sunday to do one of those walkthrough tours. And the lovely young fella who was telling us the history of Sun Studios, he said, "Oh, we still do recordings here." And I said, "Oh, tonight?" And he went, "Oh, I'll find out." And he rang the engineer, and the engineer said, "Yeah, I can come in." So we were lucky enough to spend an evening at Sun Studios with the band, and I said, "Well, we need to have something to record." So Nick and I put our heads together and wrote, just that they say it don't snow hard in Memphis, which of course it does, as we found out. And we did a recording of it at Sun, and it was a great experience. They're beautiful people, and came home and didn't ever really mix it or re-record it or anything. Things happened, life happened, and then when I got together with PepperCreek, I thought, well, offer this song up and see what the guys reckon. So yeah, and Nick and I get to sing together, which is fantastic. I love singing with Nick, so backing harmonies and so on. So yeah.
Another song that you brought to the band was Through the Storm. Tell me about that one.
For about 8 years, I worked with young girls at risk, who were considered to be at risk in Melbourne, and we used to get a group of 10 or 12 of these young people together, aged between 16 and 24. They'd sort of fallen through the cracks of the education system, and home lives weren't what would be desired and so on. So the idea was for me to help them to dig deep, write songs, work as a team, and we used to call the Noisy Girls Tribe, and write songs and do your artwork, and go into the youth studio, record your song with the professional band, which was at the time the band I was working with. And so the girls would be in a position of power where they could say, "I would like you to play it like this," or whatever the case. They may not have been really musicians or working towards a career in music, but this was a program about self-empowerment and pushing through the hard times and realising your value as you go. Your value isn't necessarily what everyone says about you. It's more to do with how you're willing to challenge yourself in life and move through things. So Through the Storm, there's this song about a lonesome girl on a lonely boat, along the river and out to sea and flying free to find her new life, really. And I wrote it for those young women who I just admire them immensely. I'm still in touch with quite a few of them, and they're fabulous young people. Well, they're in their 30s now. That's young, isn't it? Yes. So that song definitely came out of a sense of wanting to say how proud I am of those lovely young talented people, and that you do have a future. You need to just get out there and try and find where you fit. Yeah, get through the storm and to the sunshine on the other side.
Barry, you decided to record these songs as a band rather than doing parts separately. Why was that important?
The band works really good live. That's one really good thing about having a very talented band. So doesn't matter where you're doing it live. So all the feels on the new album are basically the first or second take. So it's got that really live feel to it. Well, all right, we probably touched up here and there, but the basis of all of it was live in the studio, and you'll get all those feels. There's a lot of the feels. Even now, we were saying before about we're hearing the songs more over and over. There's no. It's got a life to it because
Energy.
it has been done live. Yeah.
The new single, it's called I'm Dreaming. Dreaming or Dreamin'?
Dreaming.
Dreaming.
Tell me about that one.
Well, I had an idea for a song, and it sort of we sort of workshopped it, and it didn't actually start like what it is, but where it ended up was the feel was done live, wasn't it? It was it just happened. It was just we'd sort of rehearsed it, and we sort of put it aside, and everyone going, oh, how does this go? How does this go? By the second take, it had a new life. And that all happened in the studio, and that's great having musos like that. Roland had an effects pedal that all of a sudden just lifted that, and all of a sudden it just blossomed, the whole track. Kel ran with the vocals and the backing vocals, and it was just like, it was a completely different song, wasn't it? And we just went, wow. It was just like, and people are just going to go after putting out Train I'm On, and they're going to hear I'm Dreaming, and going, wow, is that the same band?
I'm dreaming when I'm around you. Still dreaming after all we've been through. If ever we wake up, it'll be too soon. Dreaming when I'm around you.
There's a beautiful bass sound on the album. Tell me about the bass that you use.
Okay, I'm using the last 7 songs I was using a Fender P, but the early ones I was using my Fender Jazz. So there's some different sounds on there. When Richard and I were talking, I want an amplifier, and he says no. He said I've got some ways around all that. So it's like a 3-track bass. So after it goes through different pedals, but it's basically live. That's the live sound, and we're actually looking at mixing. And the other day we're looking at it. Oh, it's a bit clacky on some of the, it's live. Let's live with it and give that live sound. I don't want it to be too perfect because I'm not a perfect bass player. So that's a beautiful thing, So you've got to say, I can live with that. So yeah, but yeah. So a P and a J Fenders. That's why I've had my Fender J. I've had for 40 years. So it's really got a lovely sound, and it depends on the track. And it's just one of those instant sounds that is, it really suits a band for some unknown reason. But I also think it doesn't matter what you play. It's in your hands, and it's in your heart, and how you play it. So but I'm a Fender man. Have been for years.
You learned the ropes from the great Dutch Tilburg.
Mm-hmm.
What did you learn from playing in Dutch Tilburg's band?
A lot of things. I met Dutch when I first arrived in Melbourne in '84. The first thing I realised how the jam. I mean, he would never have a set list. The whole 12, 13 years I played with him, he never had. We had no idea what was coming up next. So he played two or three things, and the band had to fit. My background is a sideman. For years, that's what I did. I mean, I was always playing whatever music, so you had to be switched on, and every night it'll be different playing with Dutch. He was just
He was notorious.
Actually, I think when Kel first came in and arrived in town, you played with us at the Musos Club up in Wellington Street in St Kilda. What was that, 80?
Would have been 1990.
Yeah.
1990.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I came here in 89. 91, thereabouts.
So,
yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so playing with other musos, learning how to work. Dutch's work ethic on stage was just amazing. I mean, he would say, "Hey, you're not keeping up with me," and so we was. He was. Every night was magic. There was always a magic night, you know, and our bad night was always good. As a band. Yeah.
And Kelly, did you have any mentors when you got into the Melbourne music scene?
When I came to Melbourne, I came from Queensland, where I'd been doing pop and rock and working with a variety of bands and doing session work. When I came to Melbourne, I knew probably two musicians. One was Louis McManus, the great late fabulous guitarist, mandolin, fiddle player, Irish fella. Quite an extraordinary musician. So I got into a little bit of the folk scene with them, and then of course got into the blues scene, because that was a great way to meet people and to get into doing some singing. Because after 12 months I came here, I hadn't sung for 12 months, I was chomping at the bit. So certainly Helen Jennings was a great support and mentor to me. Also my great mentor Rick Kent in Queensland, he was my manager. He was the drummer with the Vibrants many years ago. He's quite an extraordinary person. A guy called Warwick Thomas at his recording studio, great mentor. A variety of people stepping in and out of my life. I've had the great fortune to work with Kerry Simpson and Sweet Felicia and all those fantastic blues women, and they're not just blues women, they're great entertainers, bass player, guitarists, just inspirational. I suppose my lyric writing is something that I've built up over the years. I studied a lot of literature when I was a youngster, and so words have always fascinated me, and that's kind of a private thing that you do. So as regards mentoring in songwriting, just everybody you meet, the supports that you do, something that's that one of those people will say to you. I had the great fortune of working with the Drifters and the Platters and touring with them, and I learnt a lot about stagecraft from the Drifters, and at the stage when I was working with them 35 odd years ago, that they were leaping around the stage like crazy people and doing the splits, and just amazing. And they used to get me up to sing something like Hot Legs or Nutbush or something like that at the end of their show. Just learning that the stage is a playground, and that the audience are your mates and they've come out to have a good time. And when I'm teaching young people to sing, I always say to them, think of it as mental health work, as helping people to feel, laugh, dance, sing, get amongst it kind of thing. So yeah, life has been my mentor, but particularly people like Barry, Helen, Rick Kent, and a lot of the musos that I've worked with just say things like, we all support one another. So just get up and do it. What are you going to lose? Just try it. And we all grow and experience and expand because of that. So the music world's my mentor, really, I suppose.
Barry Kelly mentioned your partner, Helen Jennings. Both Helen and yourself were inducted into the Melbourne Blues Hall of Fame.
Yes.
What did that mean to you?
I was, I wasn't quite ready for it. Because I'd done a lot of, I've been around a while, but it was interesting having a break for 10 years that I hadn't done anything. I wasn't deserved of it, but then Helen actually pointed out the Real Australian Blues albums and all the other albums I've put out, and I go, oh shit, oh yeah, I have done that, yeah. It all comes back to you because it's all part of the process of it. So, the Real Australian Blues really, nearly 100 bands I had on, work with. So, that was, that to me, I was quite very proud of that because not word forced, but I asked the bands to write original blues in Australia, which up until then, everyone was doing covers of American stuff. So I think you was involved in one of those. So bringing that, it actually makes it's like a moment in time. We've actually captured Australian blues music, right? And that was my proud moment. So and it was interesting to actually get I mean now I feel like an old bugger, for getting a. But also Helen and her work in the radio for over 30 years. Her and I have worked together in many ways. So so it was good.
PepperCreek Revival. When do you hope to have the album out? And do you have any launch gigs planned?
November. We're actually the album's coming out in November, so we're looking at a couple of launches. One's going to be the Lomond, and you can ask me the date.
17th.
It's the 17th.
I think I just didn't lie.
Yeah.
I think I'd need to check my diary, but
so there's a couple of things that so
we'll check that.
That's being organised, and so this time around, Kelly and I have concentrated more on the music, and given other people to look after it, after the other promotion side, which and they're doing a fantastic job, I must admit. And it was really good for us, for Kelly and I, to actually concentrate more on the music. So because both of us have run bands before, and it's a hell of a lot of work. And in this instance, but look, and it's also. With Dreaming, there's going to be a video, and I believe there's going to be another video for the album, and we're to be announced soon. So we'll just work on that one.
Oh, surprises!
Yes.
Oh, surprises!
So, what do you hope that people get out of listening to the album?
From a lyrical perspective, the songs are about people coming and going in your life. You get on a train, you leave town because you must, for some reason or another. You fall in love, you just keep falling in love. You're so close to someone, but they're still so far away. It's kind of the songs about about working your way through things, really. I suppose about relationships and connection with one another, kindness and consideration of other people. So it's things about the human condition. It's what else do you write about in songs? I mean, I'm not focusing lyrically on political anything, because if I open that door, I'll just fall into it, and I've got to leave that to other people. So I think it's quite a joyous
It's a very
journey.
happy.
I think it's joyous.
It's a very happy album, and you know, even though the journey, we actually take people through a journey of different sounds, and we're only saying the other day it's really going to you know, but it sounds exactly like we play on stage. There's no we play all these songs live. And when the people have come up to us as gigs and saying, we just love where you're taking us, because it's like having a concert. Every night's a concert. It's, you know, there's some dancing parts, there's some time for the contemplation. But you take people with you, you know, and it's the album does that.
Let's laugh, let's cry, let's dance. We're in this together kind of vibe, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, Barry and Kelly, thanks for joining us. And
Thank
all
you,
the best
Greg.
with PepperCreek Revival.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you very much.
Enjoy the music.
Yeah.
Cheers.